Hey, g'day everybody, hope you're well. Look, I wanted to do a video today that really takes you through how to find the better trends for trading, really. It's really important to know what you're looking for and also why you're looking for it. And look, I haven't done like an educational piece for quite a while, so I thought probably a good time to get one out for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to use the top 10 as an example. And I'm just going to focus on the daily charts for now. Then I can work back and we'll go from there. So right here, I've been talking about Bitcoin against the dollar for quite a while now, as we all do. It's the big daddy. It's the one that we need to keep a close eye on because it's basically the barometer of health for this market. Now, there's much talk of potentially bottoming out, all this sort of thing. Look, I hope we have. I'd like to see it do a couple more pushes to the upside before anything else. I'd love to see some bullish sentiment coming back, and we are starting to see it creep back in. Case in point, this higher low here, higher high here. Now, there's two highs. One, two. We haven't had a third higher high since all the way back in the bull run of 2017. So to get a third higher high, and I've shown this before, but I'll show it again. Higher low, higher high, straight back down. Higher low, higher high, straight back down. Over here, higher low, higher high, straight back down. So to see a third one here would really have us, stepping through some barriers to extended upside potential. That's the daily. The weekly is also in the same position. We get through this level, the daily is in an uptrend. The weekly, we get through here, we'll see that weekly in an uptrend as well. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to continue to go up. Not at all. It's just an example of using technical analysis to try and help us to locate where that price might change. And look, if we look at this on the monthly is still on a downtrend. It could pull all the way back up into this 5,200 range before potentially even falling further. But whilst we have this upward momentum right now, that's the way I'm trading when it comes to Bitcoin against the dollar. Now you can see within this bigger picture trend, we now have a higher low here and a higher high here. So we've got a micro trend within the bigger picture daily macro trend there as well. It's in an uptrend. So therefore, I can trade this. I'll tick those boxes. Ethereum, so I'm looking for uptrends, right? Here's a higher low, here's a higher high. Now, Ethereum hasn't had the same cyclicity as what Bitcoin has. Notice how the moving averages have fanned out really nicely, and it's pulled back and moved very well. Ethereum doesn't have that same sort of continuation. So for me, Ethereum is not one on the list. EOS, when it comes up, there we go. It didn't break to a new higher high through here. So there's a higher low and potentially a lower high. Because of that, it's not on my list. Stellar against the dollar. Now, I've got to be honest, I haven't traded on Bittrex for a very long time, but I believe they have trading against Stellar against the dollar on Bittrex now. I can't confirm that, but the bottom line is if you can trade this against the dollar, because I just haven't had an opportunity for a long time, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I haven't gone looking. A pullback into this cradle zone would work. Good convergence there as well. Higher low here, higher high, and we'll look at that weekly. You'll note it's just run straight up into that cradle zone. So it could be set for a move to the downside on that weekly. Not as clear as that of Bitcoin, but the daily trend is definitely up. Ripple, it's just very sideways. I don't like to trade range-bound markets. They just don't offer me the same level of high probability of success. And my trading strategies that I use, the breakout, the Fibonacci booster, and the crypto cradle, they're not going to happen in sideways ranges. Litecoin is the next on the list, and as you can see, moved back into the cradle zone and a good move, pulled back in and a little move. I much prefer to see stronger moves as we push through. Now, that's not to be said that we're not going to move higher from here. I just don't like the way that chart looks, and if I go from the daily to the 16-hour, you'll note from this high to this high, really strong divergence, and as I go lower, that divergence remains. So for me, Litecoin is not one right now that I'm interested in. Bitcoin Cash, higher high here. I am very interested in Bitcoin Cash, but I needed to pull back in to this daily area for a little cradle, a little bullish candle to set up, fit my rules, and then I'd be into that. Binance against the dollar. Well, there's been some great trading opportunities here, and a little intraday trade up here against both Bitcoin and against the US dollar tether. So we've had a great run of trades through that this year with the strategies that I use. Right now, it look, it can very well have a pullback because look at how far it's moved already. Here's that weekly straight up. A pullback into $10 would not be off the cards. It's a very large pullback percentage-wise, but as you can see, we're sort of struggling up here around that $16 mark, and it has had a very strong move over the last few weeks. A pullback certainly not off the cards, but for the time being, it's slightly up. If I show this to you on the 4-hour chart, you'll actually note it's starting to get a little bit messy here. I'm not really stalking trades long here on Binance. I'm more than happy to sit back and wait. Tron, very sideways. Again, another example of a chart that I'm not interested in. Very choppy, very sideways. And finally, Cardano, looking really, really nice indeed. Again, nice cyclicity, higher highs, higher lows. As I move down through the time frames, you'll note small bullish candle in that cradle zone. Good move. There was actually an opportunity for a trade. I think it set up best on the 8-hour right here. Now, for whatever reason, that was at night time on the Friday, I think it was. Or maybe it was Monday. Either way, it wasn't one that I was around for at that time in that period during the night. So for me, that's because the candle opened at 3 a.m. I did not take that. But again, it just shows it pulls back in that cradle zone, moves, pulls back in, opportunity to trade there, and it moved. So for me, it's a very simple one. I'm waiting for the opportunity for it to pull back in so I can join it. So out of that top 10, what have we got? We've got Bitcoin in a really nice uptrend, and realistically, Cardano is probably the other one that's tradable. So that's where I focus my attention now. To take you through the Bitcoin chart, okay, so the daily is in a nice uptrend there. So then I come down to my lower time frames, okay? Now, what I've got in here is, a couple of things. For a start, there's a pullback. So for a start, there was a breakout. So entry as it breaks out through that resistance level. I actually took it on BitMEX, not Bitfinex, so it's actually hit my first target so far. I've closed half of the position, so it's basically a break-even trade now. If you have a look at this here, though, it pulled back into this area, which is my Fibonacci boost of the 50% Fibonacci with a 38.2, also clustering in and around that old support and resistance level. Currently, it's in profit if you would have taken that. Now, I didn't take that because I already had a trade on, and I didn't really feel the need to double up on that. And to be fair, by the time it had actually triggered, it was down here right at the entry, and I don't tend to take trades at market. I prefer to sit back and wait for those my orders to be filled. But again, a nice opportunity that was right there. Now, let me take you through and get rid of this and show you exactly what I'm looking at here. Good convergence on the break. Test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4. Higher low here, entry here. Okay, this is a stop option on Bitfinex. The 1 hour, exactly the same. Good convergence, showing that there's momentum coming into that break. It did break quite nicely, and now we're just holding slightly above that breakout point. It'd be really wonderful to see Bitcoin push on and leave the 4,000 handle behind. I say 4,000, I know it says 41.26 here, but let me show you how it looks on other charts, like Coinbase, for example. Look at this. Here's that breakout. Whooshka, straight up, came back, retested absolutely perfectly, and is now sitting at 4,200. But it's been hanging around that 4,000 level for a very, very long time. Okay, look at the 4 hour. That consolidation has been holding. If we do push above, it looks very strong. Good convergence on the 8, the 12, the 16, and the daily there. So it's really the only time frame that's got divergence is the 4 hour. So for me, it'd be nice to see 4,000 left behind with a really strong move. Really happy to have a trade on this because I haven't had a good Bitcoin entry for quite a long time. So I'll have to wait and see how it goes. Guys, if you want to learn more about the trading that I do, or get on the newsletter, because I got this video out to people on the free newsletter, then go to tradercobb.com/free tools. Have a great day. I'll speak to you again soon. And come on, Bitcoin, let's get towards that 4,200 and push to some new highs within this trend. It'd be really nice to see. Have a good day, guys. Bye for now.